Hello, welcome to another live Google Hangout on the Living Income Guaranteed. And today we have an interesting topic that it's very, well, recently known for a couple of years, and it's cryptocurrencies, money in the information era. And as you might have heard of Bitcoin and this emergence of a variety of cryptocurrencies that are more like the famous one that we've heard of, but this innovating technology can change the way that money operates. And we haven't really had the time to discuss this in depth in a hangout and to understand how is it working, how are they mined, is it a commodity itself, what is the value behind it, can this system become mainstream, is it meant to become mainstream, how is it regulated? So to discuss all of this, we got an expert and aficionado for big cryptocurrencies, Ron Smit from the Netherlands. Hi Ron, and welcome to the hangout.
Hi all, my name is Ron Smit and I'm of the Dutch Basisinkomen Partij in the Netherlands. And I try to tell you something about cryptocurrencies and why they are useful.
Okay, so before we go into the discussion, and for everyone watching, please remember that there are questions and comments that you can place throughout our live discussion that will take place for about 40 minutes or so. It all depends on the topic and your questions as well. So make sure that you get them through. If you're watching the repetition on YouTube, please make sure that you place a comment there and we will let Ron know so that he can give his perspective or answer to it. Also, you have to be logged into your Google Plus account to be able to comment. And if you're on a mobile, I apologize, but there's not a way to interact right now with this technology, so we use what we have. Please subscribe as well if you find this video, this interview supportive and relevant. Share it as well. So, Ron, let's get on to, first of all, can you tell us what has been the main drive behind the creation of cryptocurrencies? What has happened in our reality that has made it possible?
Well, I think for myself, it's the way of paying other people in the future. It has come over like when I first saw it, I thought it's really the future that is going to emerge. Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies are basically the opposite of the money system that we have today. Today it's not transparent, it's not open, it's controlled by a few central banks, basically one central bank. And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are more decentralized. Everyone has a say in it, in a transaction. Everyone can mine a Bitcoin, everyone can pay others with Bitcoins. There is no way that banks and governments are controlling it. It is basically the people, the protocol itself that is installed, that is controlling the way it operates. And that is totally different from the money system today. So I thought, well, this is the future. This is the way future transactions will be. Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are global currencies, and today's currencies are more confined to a certain geographical place on Earth, and are not global. They can be traded and exchanged, but they are not global. And global is the thing of the future. So with globality, there is a need for a coin that is fitted to it, basically.
So what would you say are some of the main principles that people that are participating as, users of cryptocurrencies are advocating? What are the main reasons of why they're using it?
Now, the thing is that they can be transactions can be very quick, depending on the protocol, and people who want some transparency in payment to others and in the accounting protocol, the blockchain. If you want to see in an account, you can see if someone has enough coins available to do a transaction. You can see in the account what transactions are done. You can check if the other party has received your transaction. That is very useful for people to do business. And with an account on a bank, you are the only one who can see how much coins you have. Nobody else can see it. And with the blockchain, anyone can see it. Anyone in the world can see how much coins you have, what transactions you have done, and so on. It's the thing that people like to see in a monetary system.
And at the same time, I mean, this is like part of the transparency and integrity that it is being promoted with how the system operates of cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, they are anonymous. Like no one can really know who you are behind that account. Is that correct?
Yeah, they are basically anonymous until you make known to the world what kind of account you have. Then they pitch the name with the, but not before. It's possible to trace transactions. It's possible to trace coins from one account to another. But if there is no name attached to an account, then it's just a number of 34 digits, and that's it. It's completely anonymous, and yeah, it has its advantages and disadvantages.
How has people's perception in terms of what money is have changed since the emergence of Bitcoin?
Well, money is controlled by government, by central banks. They are the only one who can create money, and they do it in a very principled fashion. If they create money, they just type it into an account, and that's it. They have created 1,000, 100,000 coins or whatever. But with Bitcoin, you cannot create so simplistic coins. You have to do something for it. You have to have a machine, you have to have the computer, and maybe specialized hardware to create the coins. You have to do a sum. A cryptographic sum that has to be solved. That is the proof of work for a certain coin. That is the thing you have to do, and that is totally different than what governments and banks are doing. So yeah, it's an advantage.
Is this the reason? I mean, this is the mining process. What you just described. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the mining process. Yeah, you have to solve the proof of work. You cannot simply say I have 100 bitcoins and that's it.
Absolutely. And what happens? Does this make the currency in itself an asset in itself, or is the mining process the value that is given to that Bitcoin, or how does the valuation operate here?
Now, if there are basically two kinds of mining. One mining is done by ASICs, that is specialized hardware that can do very quickly solve the proof of work. And you got another kind of coins that is very dedicated to personal computers or laptops or something that has anyone by hand. Anyone who can operate a computer that is capable of mining the coins, and that is the other side of the coin. There are specialized protocols that push out the work of an ASIC. An ASIC is a very simplistic chip who can do very quick calculations, but it can be, if you have very much processing power of ASICs, you can try to centralize the coin. So if you want to decentralize and keep it decentralized, you have to have many single computers that are working on the coins, and not one entity, not one bank or one government. So there are special kinds of protocols. Bitcoin uses quite a simple protocol called SHA-256, and another kind of protocol is Scrypt. The Iceland cryptocurrency, the official Iceland cryptocurrency, the Aurora coin, uses the Scrypt protocol. But others who are specialized in mining with personal computers, by example Quark or X11, these are meant for personal computers with more memory. The difference between an ASIC mined coin is that it lacks memory, so it cannot be quickly adjusted to other things. And if you mine with a personal computer, the adjustments can be very quickly. So, and hardware cannot be adjusted. You have to change the hardware instead of doing just a sum in a computer. So there is two fronts in basically. You have the ASIC mined coins, and you have the PC or laptop mined coins. That is where it's going to, or where it is now.
And what about the requirements? You were mentioning that there's a lot of electricity that this mining process actually takes.
Yeah, if you want to operate a mining rig or something like that, it costs a lot of electricity. So because the ASICs chips can use very high currents and high powers, so something like this. It's very electricity consuming, and that is another it's another disadvantage in creating coins. You have the power of a small electrical furnace to to create a lot of coins. So it's not very environment friendly. So yeah, it's a problem, electricity. But you got older chip generations use more electricity, and the newer chip generations, they use less electricity, because this kind of chips are the old chips, 56 nanometer chips. They use a lot of electricity, but the recent developments in silicon technology is 9 nanometers ASICs that can do 4 or 5 times the hashing power, the processing speed of the same chip, but from the older generation. Dus that is an advantage to look at newer chips and newer technology.
I find it very relevant to discuss these aspects that sometimes are left not mentioned, which also has to, be within the context of what is sustainable to produce, and if this is the kind of technology that we would like more and more people to have. So definitely, just as everything, I consider that it has to continue evolving to make it more practical and more sustainable in the context of ecology and environmentally friendly type of devices. I would like to ask you about this, for example, Bitcoin being the actual example of what an open source or peer-to-peer technology is. So can you walk us very briefly on toward explaining how does a transaction take place, or how does it happen?
Transactions are done by the network itself. There are no people who are controlling the way the coins go. The network does all the controlling. I'm not an expert in the network technology or protocols, but the network is a kind of system that checks things. For example, if you have an address that is one character wrong, there are 34 characters in an address, and so one character is wrong. You lose the last character, or you type the wrong character. Then the network gives you a notice, so you know you are having a wrong address or a false address or something like that. If you make more errors, yeah, then that's a problem. But a transaction has to be confirmed by other users. Not one user can confirm a transaction. There has to be a minimum of 5 or 6 users on the network that can confirm your transaction. And that is basically linked to the peer-to-peer technology. So that's in short how it works.
And would you say that this is a way to democratize the creation of money, meaning to regaining or recognizing that power to issue currency? And my question, or rather criticism to Bitcoin, is precisely thinking of those that do not have access to this kind of technology or that cannot pay their electricity bill, this kind of thing. So does it really make it more like a club of people that can use Bitcoin instead of having an aim to make it available for more people? Also within the context that I understand Bitcoin has a limited amount of Bitcoins in existence. Can you tell us about this?
Well, that's central of to decentralized, of keeping the coin decentralized. I'm looking more and more to the personal computer mined coins like Quark protocol or X11 protocol instead of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an ASIC mined coin and can be centralized in a way. If you have enough processing power, you can draw all the mining to yourself in a network of in a big computer room with multiple rigs. You can draw everything to your own, and that is not possible with the other kinds of coins. So yeah, I think there will be a movement to people who are mining the coins with their own computer, with their own laptops. That is a way to guarantee to keep it decentralized and keep it fair for everyone. Otherwise, you will have a centralized digital cryptocurrency that is not designed to be centralized. It is designed to be decentralized and not centralized. So you get a conflict in that way.
And what about the value in itself? Does it have any intrinsic value, a Bitcoin or any unit of cryptocurrency?
Well, if there are many coins available, then the more coins there are, the less value the coin will be. And if very large numbers of people using the network will respond quicker. Then the network will be more in line with bigger volumes on transactions. So people have more trust in such a network, and therefore the coin has a bigger value. So the value is basically the number of coins and the popularity of the network. How many people use the network.
Just like with any alternative currency as well, the money is in itself something that can be issued by anyone, but what actually creates its power or its value, it's of course the community behind it. So that's why we also see this emergence of many cryptocurrencies that have been competing also with the one that we know the most, which is Bitcoin. So how come that there is such a variety? What's the aim of it? Is there something for the people that can, is it just like raising the value of each cryptocurrency?
There are other cryptocurrencies have specific uses. For example, here in the Netherlands, we have the old currency, which we had before the euro, that is now rising again in the form of a cryptocurrency, the E-gulden or E-gulden. But the E-gulden is a currency that is specially dedicated to people living in the Netherlands. And in Iceland, you have the same kind of coin that the government issues. That is the Aurora coin. It's especially designed for people in Iceland. And also you can use a Bitcoin in Iceland, but it is more likely that they will use the Aurora coin because it's their coin. It's designed for them. So and you can also have uses in business. For example, the Sun coin. It can be a great coin for tourism to sunny places or other kinds of coins. They all have their own purpose and uses.
It's also, it seems, a way to counteract the euro at the moment. And as we've seen, there is an emergence of the sentiment to be outside of the euro, from seeing it as the oppressing system over Europe. So thanks for sharing that. I wasn't really aware of these specific uses that the cryptocurrencies have, which makes more sense as to why there are so many and so varied. You mentioned before the blockchain software technology. So can you share us what it is?
Blockchain is basically an automated, decentralized cash book where all the transactions are noted, and they are not noted by one person or one entity. They are noted by basically all the users on the network. All they use the blockchain. An advantage of, basically a disadvantage of the blockchain is that it can grow very big. If many people do transactions and every transaction ends up noted in the blockchain, then the blockchain grows and grows and grows, and that is what is not ready that is not resolved yet, how to control that. If you have try to look up an address on the computer on the internet, you type an URL, Universal Resource Locator, and the translation from name to internet IP address is done by a DNS system, and the DNS system is also splitted in different computers lying behind the first one. Maybe there is a solution to do it in that way, but it is an advantage of a disadvantage that the blockchain is very big, or can grow very big, but all transactions are noted in one thing, in one transaction chain. That is why they call it the blockchain. Coins are mined in blocks, and all these blocks are connected in one big database, and they are chained together, so they call it the blockchain. And every transaction where from one address to another address where a coin goes, it's noted in the blockchain. So that is in part that is centralized.
So is this why it is said that this kind of technology or this software is a value to society, not so much the currency in itself, but the mechanism in which it works? What's your perspective on this?
It's certainly a value. So because everyone can see how much coins you have. It is very public and open and transparent. As I said before, if you want to buy something, the one who tries to sell it to you can see he's got enough coins on his account, so I make with confidence a transaction. I can send it to him because I know he has enough coins. I can see for myself. And if I do a transaction, well, I can trace the transaction to his account and from his account. So yeah, that is more of interest to the general public than the secrecy and non-transparency of a bank. Basically.
What about the kind of businesses or transactions that had been going on that we got to hear in the news in relation to the Silk Road and Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies being used for the kind of businesses that, of course, had to go under the radar of the government? So what can you tell us about this?
Well, I haven't studied that under the hood for very well. So I want to have another question.
Okay, that's great. This is in relation to governments, of course, maybe considering this kind of technologies, but we were discussing that, of course, the main principle or the main tenet of cryptocurrencies is completely being decentralized and completely being anonymous. So from your perspective, what is the potential of this technology in itself? Will it remain to be this network of people that decide to continue working with each other? Where does it limit? Or do you see that there is a potential to use the same technology, but within the context of regulation and maybe even governmental operations with it?
Yes. You can imagine yourself that you overlay the standard Bitcoin network with another protocol above it, and within the overlying protocol you can do your own thing. You can make people do banking, reversing transactions, do savings, insurances. Everything is possible within this overlaying protocol, and yeah, that is a promising thing, I think. You are then using the network, only using the network. You are not modifying anything. You just overlaying a thing, a protocol, and then use the original network. So the overlaying protocol has its advantages. It has its and the underlying network has its advantages.
So in terms of, for example, some universities that already have payment with Bitcoins and many other businesses, and even media activists are receiving donations with Bitcoin, is this how it operates, that they put a protocol on top so that they can use it in a more, let's say, normal or ordinary way?
Yeah, you can link names to addresses within that overlaying protocol. It may be the solution for the paradox that the Bitcoin network is anonymous, and the users of the network will be more identifiable to make a transaction or do something else. Everything is possible. They can be modified without adjusting the underlying protocol. I see there is a question.
Yes, let's go to it. It's from Liane Gale, and she's saying, there are basically no women in the cryptocurrency movement, and there is even the term crypto patriarchy. Why is that, and how could this be changed to be more inclusive?
Well, I don't think a monetary network is basically a man's thing or a woman's thing. The term crypto is what it could be used to change to be more inclusive. Well, I don't think women are exclusive in the network. So how will it be more inclusive? It's a very, very strange question, I think.
I would say from my perspective that it has to do with maybe we tend to look at the technology used as a bit complicated, but I would say that it is up to us women to actually kind of learn and be the ones that start using this kind of technology. If you are so interested in doing so, because sometimes there is that stigma that, oh, it's computers, it's systems, and it's only for males. But if this is prevalent, then we have to be the ones stepping in, I'd say. Thanks for your comment, Liane. Ron, I'd like to ask you, in relation to you being part of the Basic Income Party in the Netherlands as well, what kind of linkage is there within the use of cryptocurrencies and basic income? Do you see any potential in it, or what is the current use within it?
Well, I think cryptocurrencies are for basic income, and they are in the future. For now, we rely and we try to use the existing monetary systems, because if you pay a basic income to an anonymous account, yeah, you can have you can have one person who has 10 accounts, and so 10 basic incomes. And that is not the idea of a basic income. So until there is a way to identify the receiver of the basic income with a great guarantee that it will go to only the receiver, only one receiver, and not fooled by a trick or anonymous coins or whatever, it has to be. Yeah, it basically you have to solve the paradox between identifiable unknown accounts.
So maybe it will require the kind of protocol that you were explaining before, and only for that one purpose of providing a basic income, that people kind of let themselves be known. But I know that it also goes against the principles of these cryptocurrencies. So maybe from my perspective, it would be like using the technology in itself. It will stop being a cryptocurrency, but it can be used for the sake of automating and digitizing the money itself that people will receive as a basic income. What do you say?
Yeah, that maybe there is a possibility in the overlaying protocol. For example, OmniLayer or Mastercoin before that. But it is very new. It is undiscovered country. You cannot have an identifiable anonymous account that is not yet to be implemented in the Bitcoin system. It's completely anonymous. So you have to have a layer above it or something else, maybe a political thing, or I don't know. But you have to solve that paradox. And until that is solved, I see that the basic income will be given to an account by a central bank or by a bank that is already in existence today. And it's basically for the future, not for now. It has to be built. It has to be put in practice. And it's not that so far yet. So we keep it to the standard euros and dollars and whatever, and until there is a solution to the problem.
Actually, I also see the potential then in the future, and within this principle that the basic income is based on, then with the technology, of course, wonders can be made if we also decided, just as any other currency, it's essentially a social agreement. I'd like to ask you some more technical questions from the perspective of, okay, you have Bitcoins. Can you exchange it to your euros, for example, or any other mainstream currencies? How does that operate?
Well, there are several exchanges where you can exchange a Bitcoin into other coins, or E-gulden into Bitcoins, but they all use the same master coin, as it were. You got coins that are related to Bitcoins. You got coins who are related to light coins, and that is the less valuable kind of Bitcoin with another proof of work, the Escrit proof of work. And you got, well, basically a new type of coin, the X11, that is more for personal computers to mine. They can be exchanged, and yeah, there are certain companies who buy and sell Bitcoins, and if you can use how is that company called? I can't make any things, but if you want a Bitcoin, you can go to a website and you say, I want to pay with Ideal. And if you do that, then you can you have Bitcoins or fractional of Bitcoins donated or sent to your wallet. A wallet is a piece of software that is designed to hold Bitcoins. It's yeah, you can do transactions, you can receive coins, you can store them if you like. It's a kind of equivalent to the old-fashioned wallet where you keep coins and notes.
Okay, that process really sounds like there is a lot of understanding of how it really works to make it something practical from my perspective. So I definitely agree that this is still, of course, in its initial steps, and that we have to look at the future at the potential of making it more viable, more understandable, and maybe, as Liane was saying, maybe more women will be into it. I'd like to ask you about a criticism that is coming from Vinny Gupta in relation to cryptocurrencies, and he says that they cannot be divorced from the mainstream politics, and essentially they cannot really be outside of the system, so to speak. What's your perspective on this?
Well, Bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies are part of the social system, so they have to be included in some way. There has to be a political thing, or a complete or a political entity who yeah, will govern this or will regulate this, or I don't know exactly. Yeah, there are two worlds. There is the anonymous crypto coin, and there is a society who wants that you will be identified for the money you receive and yeah, and send to others. That is the paradox. Maybe it is possible to solve it politically or socially. If there is no other automated top layer above the coin, I think we have to do it by the old-fashioned way then.
Okay, we have a question that is also related to the value in itself of Bitcoin, which is also part of the last questions. We also see the value in the market of Bitcoin going up and down and being in the boom and bust. And Jean Kenny is saying, I'm confused, but can you explain how the Bitcoin is valued? Who values it? And how do we protect ourselves from pump and dump schemes?
If you want to minimize the ups and downs in the value of a coin, in the Bitcoin of in the crypto coin, you have to decentralize it more. And with Bitcoin, it's very hard to do if parties, centralized parties, who have a huge amount of processing power to mine the Bitcoin, then it tends to be centralized. And if they mine a lot of coins and sell it, then you get a drop in price, and others will try to buy it, and yeah, there comes the ups and downs in price. But ups and downs are very natural to occur in exchanges for coins and currencies. It is yeah, every currency has its own drops and heights, and that it's a natural thing to occur. It is not specific to Bitcoin or something like that.
Do you think that there is a possibility of making currency systems that precisely prevent this kind of ups and downs and being in accordance with the ups and downs in the market as well? Because Bitcoin one day can be, very valued and very benefiting certain people that of course have it, and some days it can be completely down. So do you see that there's a possibility of using this same technology to provide a more stable system?
Well, maybe there is a possibility, but I'm not aware of it. The value is going up and goes down with the demand, and yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe in the future there is a way to solve this problem with an automatic peer-to-peer system. But for now, I don't know how it will be done. It's not possible, I think, for now. But yeah, maybe in the future it can be done.
Yes, I also see that contradiction in terms of, yes, it is something that is meant to be decentralized, but at the same time, it's kind of building its own centralization, as you were mentioning, with the power to mine that some have. So that's why Vinay Gupta was saying that, well, you cannot really escape from this political system in itself, that those that have the more power can create the more coins and so essentially have the most dominance over the cryptocurrency. So I would say that, in terms of any criticism toward any currency, alternative currencies and mutual credits and so forth, governance and what we decide to make it to be is what will make it effective or not, a boom or a bust in essence. And is it for mutual benefit? Is it for benefiting all the people that have certain cryptocurrency, for example? That's what I would suggest, or I would like this technology to be in the future, to be more like this protocol that can be used to ensure to everyone, for example, basic income. So any last words that you'd like to say in relation to this?
I would like to see that more and more people are mining coins with their own computer, with basically a program that can mine coins that are opposed to ASIC coins, mined coins like the Bitcoin. More that the more of what you call a people's coin. Everyone with a computer, with a laptop, or a mobile phone, for example, can mine a coin with a simple program. No specific hardware needed, no extra fast specialized things. Everyone with a computer must have the power to create their own coins. That is the only way to guarantee that everyone is involved and that no large parties can dominate the whole network. You can see New York has a very large domination who wants to control the Bitcoin. It is the 51 problem. 51% of everything that is mined goes to account in New York. But I think that is also a political thing, that they want to save their own dollar. The dollar is under pressure from various sources and hooks in the world. And they try to push out the Bitcoin. They want to dominate the Bitcoin to save their own dollar. Yeah, that is not a very nice thing to do. If you are trying to sue others and to drop their activities in mining Bitcoins, yeah, you're using a legal system to make it impossible for others. And that is not the spirit of Bitcoin. So I say people have to mine their own people's coin. That would be an ideal solution for me.
I would definitely agree with that, so that it is recognized as the power to issue currency that everyone should have and should recognize. And this also goes with understanding more on how money operates, what money really is. And I consider that that's a very important aspect that comes within the discussion of cryptocurrencies, of course. So thanks a lot, Ron, for your time and for this discussion and for educating ourselves on this subject, a little less lost as I was before this discussion. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, the viewer, for watching, and we will see you next time. Remember to vote this video up and subscribe if you'd find it interesting, useful, and educational. Until next time. Bye, Ron.
Bye.